Some people did not even know that you could actually come to the UK during peak periods to work as a poultry farmer, or to come and pick fruits and vegetables, or to work as a fisherman or whatever. People did not even know that there's such a visa category that allows you to come to the UK to do that. See, the UK needs people, especially during peak periods, to be able to meet up with the shortage of labor during those times and then help in their horticulture or agricultural sector. In today's video, I'm going to share some good news that has just recently developed regarding this particular type of visa, and also I'm going to show you some employers that often recruit people from Africa and Asia to come and do these jobs in the UK. So if you're interested, stay tuned. Stop that. So hi guys, welcome once again to my channel. My name is Danielle Griselda. On this channel I talk about nursing, I talk about opportunities for people to relocate abroad, and life in the UK as an immigrant in general. So if these are topics that interest you, please consider subscribing. So there's such a visa category as a seasonal worker visa, and it allows people who are from non-EU countries like, let's say, Africa or Asia to help the UK, especially during peak periods in, let's say, poultry farming, agriculture, horticulture, and food processing companies, okay? And usually during the peak periods, there's not enough labor in the UK to cater for this particular, for the agricultural sector during this period. So they greatly rely on lots of foreign labor during that moment. And it's called the seasonal worker visa. It's for only temporary work, and the duration is very small, okay? So usually you're giving about 6 months to come and work in this visa category. And then you need a sponsor license. You need a UK employer who has the permission or the license to recruit foreign personnel to be able to recruit you, okay? Let me briefly talk about this visa category and then I'll tell you the good news about it. So it says you can apply for a seasonal worker visa to come to the UK and work in horticulture for up to 6 months. For example, you'll be picking fruits and vegetables, or you'll be picking flowers, or you can work in poultry from, let's say, 2nd October to 31st December in the same year. And then you also need to apply for the poultry seasonal worker visa by 15th of November each year. You can apply for the horticulture seasonal worker visa at any time of the year. So with the horticulture seasonal worker visa, you can apply for it at any time of the year, but when it comes to the poultry aspect of it, you can only apply for it by 15th of November each year. You need to have a sponsor, and you also need to meet the eligibility requirements. You can apply for the visa up to 3 months before the day you are due to start work in the UK, and then you can arrive in the UK up to 14 days before the day that you start work. When you are coming, you're not allowed to bring your spouse, you're not allowed to bring your children. And when you come to the UK, you are not allowed to get another permanent job. You are not allowed to do any other job aside the one that you came to do, the farming. You are not allowed to access public funds, okay, like child benefits and all of that. You don't have access to that. And the application fee currently is about £298. So if you apply on the company's website, they look at your CV and then they admit you. You have to fill an application form and pay a visa application of £298. When you're applying for the visa as well, you need to show that you have enough funds before you're eligible to get the visa. You should have at least £1,270 equivalent in your bank account in your home country when you are making the application, okay? And this money should have been in your account for at least 28 days before you apply for the visa. Other than that, on your certificate of sponsorship from your employer should take maintenance to show that when you come, they'll maintain you financially or whatever before you get your first salary, okay? If they take that, then you may not need to prove this amount of money, and they should also pay you at least the minimum salary or the minimum wage for that particular kind of job. So basically, this is what this visa is about. Like I said, it's temporal, but if you want experience in the UK, you can use this opportunity as well. And now let me talk about the good news that has recently emerged, okay, about this visa category. This was on the 16th of July 2024. The Migration Advisory Committee, the MAC, okay, they published a review on the UK seasonal worker visa scheme, and they have put forward a few recommendations to transform this particular route and provide greater security for migrant workers in the agricultural sector. For 2024, 47,000 visas were granted in this particular industry. 45,000 were for the horticulture industry and 2,000 were for the poultry industry. An additional 10,000 visa was available as contingency if needed. So over 45,000 visas were available for people to come and work in the UK in this particular sector. This video is proudly sponsored by TransferGo. TransferGo, for those of you who are hearing it for the first time, is an international money transfer app that allows you to send money from EU to many African countries. You can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, and several other African countries. At the moment, TransferGo's rate to Ghana is amazing, honestly. To my Ghanaians living in the United Kingdom or living in other EU countries, listen to this carefully. TransferGo allows you to send money directly from your account here in the UK or EU country directly to Ghana mobile money wallet. You can send it to Airtel Tigo account, MTN mobile money account, Telecel account. And the first 2 transfers are absolutely free. And with the subsequent transfers, you're literally paying very little or nothing at all, honestly. TransferGo is rated the best financial app on Trustpilot. Remember, you can initiate the transfer in less than a minute, and within like a minute, literally, the person at the other end is going to get the money. All you need to do is just use the link in the description or just download TransferGo app. And remember to use my referral link, okay? And you can also generate your own referral link and then make some extra cash whenever people use your link to transfer money. TransferGo is rated by the UK Financial Conduct Authority, so you can trust that this is a legit way of transferring money. You don't have to be afraid of losing your money. Remember, you can always track the transfer in the app and they are super reliable. And if you have any issues whatsoever, customer support team is willing to assist you whatsoever, whatever time it is. Remember, with TransferGo, there are no hidden charges and they are trusted by 4 million plus users worldwide. But the thing is, TransferGo allows you to send money not only to Ghana, but so many other African countries. So if you're watching me and you're not a Ghanaian, still you can use TransferGo. But this particular message was for my Ghanaian fellows. Thank you so much, TransferGo, for sponsoring today's video. So the current seasonal worker visa began in, let's say, 2019. And in May 2024, the government has announced that the scheme would be extended for the next 5 years, so up to 2029. So this visa category is going to be there up to 2029. Their intention is that they are going to taper the numbers down with time. So like I said, in 2024 they had over 45,000 visas available for people who are interested in coming to work in horticulture. They had 2,000 visas ready to give to people who are coming to work in the poultry sector. An additional 10,000 visas were just on hold. They are literally making immigration tighter. We thought this was going to end as well. The mark, along with employers in this sector, they have done their research and they argue that the seasonal worker scheme is essential to maintain food security in the UK and should remain in place. So they realized that, I mean, if 45,000 people were needed to come and help in your agricultural sector so that UK people will get food to eat, the British will get food to eat, and there's no way you can just scrape it off like that. So the employers in this sector and then the mark, they realize that this brings about food security in the UK, so they have to keep it going. Okay, however, the committee has urged the government to tackle worker exploitation and provide greater certainty to employers on the future of this route. Obviously, some people are exploited in this particular sector because most of the time they are from low-income countries and they are coming to work in this. This is a tiring job, okay? They're going to get, let's say, minimum wage. Some employers may take advantage of them and exploit them. So the mark has urged that the government tackles worker exploitation and then also brings some form of certainty to this particular type of visa. The employers should know that at 2029, what are they going to do, to maintain food security in the UK? So the mark has brought up 5 recommendations, and listen carefully. The mark says that the government must provide further certainty regarding the long-term future of the scheme by confirming visa numbers and any further extension to the scheme each year on a rolling basis. This would effectively give employers 5 years notice if the scheme is to close. So they are saying that you guys are saying that you're going to continue it until 2029, but after 2029, what are your plans? What are the employers going to do so that they can start making plans for the future? Because we only know that it's staying to 2029. If you intend to extend it further, let us know. And if you intend to reduce the number of visas, let us know as well. Okay, so that's what the mark is asking the government to do. The mark is also allowing for a more flexible visa. It says greater flexibility would enable employers to plan more efficiently and for workers to maximize their earnings without adding complexity to the route. To achieve this, the mark recommends shortening of the cooling off period from the current 6 months to 3 months and allowing workers any 6-month period in an individual calendar year. These measures will allow seasonal workers to return to the UK more quickly and meet employer demand. So what the mark is saying is that for the seasonal worker visa, the government should reduce the cooling off period, which was initially 6 months, to 3 months, so that people would be able to just stay in their country for 3 months and then reapply again and come and help. Okay, if they have to stay back home for as long as 6 months before they return, doesn't make sense, right? So they should shorten. I think there should not even be any cooling off period. Anyway, the market is saying that it should be shortened from 6 months to 3 months. Okay, and then it's saying that fairer work and pay for workers. The mark is concerned that the wages for seasonal workers are lower than the UK-wide average and at the occupation and industry level, but cites a lack of pay data. To offer additional protection for workers, the mark recommends seasonal workers should be guaranteed at least 2 months' pay to cover their costs in coming to the UK, with exemptions for extenuating circumstances. The process of refunding income tax and opting out of pension scheme auto enrollment should also be made clearer and easier. So the mark is basically saying that the people coming to work in this sector are usually paid very, very poorly, and that they should give them at least their 2 months salary to help them, with their visa processes when they're coming and all of that. Me, anything about fair pay and better pay, I am all for it. So that's another good recommendation from the MAC, okay? And then they're also saying that they should tighten, communicate, and enforce employee rights. So seasonal workers are particularly vulnerable to exploitation whilst working in the UK. Due to the nature of the work, it is usually in isolated rural areas, frequently with little or no English. Some of them can't even speak any English at all. And remember, English is not even a requirement for the visa. So to improve safeguarding, the MAC recommends a more coordinated approach between the bodies currently involved in worker welfare and a clearer delineation of responsibility for each. Worker rights must also be clearly communicated to workers in their own language, and also give consideration to the employer paid principle. Seasonal workers currently bear considerable costs to come to the UK, including their visa fees, their travel fares. So this increases the risk of debt bondage. So they come, let's say they loan money or they borrow money for their processes and they are already in debt, and it also increases the risk of exploitation. So the committee has suggested that further work is needed to investigate how these costs might be more equitably shared along the supply chain, so that the people will not have to pay all these money and then come and then you don't even pay them that much as well. Okay, so this is the good news. Okay, they've recommended better pay, reduce exploitation in this sector, and then to make it more clearer what exactly the future holds with this particular type of visa and all of that. Okay, I'll leave the link in the description below if you want to read further. But before I end this video, let me give you a list of companies that are popular in recruiting this particular type of foreign workers for this particular type of visa. So we have AG Recruitment. It's one popular company that sponsors a wide range of jobs in the agriculture and horticultural sector. The sponsorship usually lasts for only 6 months, and the company's services includes helping people with the application process and providing accommodation and transportation for workers. On the downside, they don't offer any support with finding a job after the sponsorship ends, so you'd have to go back to your country. We also have Proforce Limited. So Proforce is another company. They also sponsor people in the food processing sector, and they also provide additional supports like training and language lessons. They support their workers to find a job after the sponsorship ends, but they have a long waiting list and their sponsorship period is usually shorter, like 4 to 6 months. We also have Concordia UK Limited, Fruitful Jobs Limited, Hey Groove Recruitment, Hops Labor Solutions, RE Recruitment. So these are all companies that are authorized by the UK government. Okay, but you can also find them in the UK company contact details, and then you can also just go on Google and type UK seasonal worker visa jobs with sponsorship. Just go through and look, and then you can be lucky. 45,000 visas is huge. This can also open the door for you to get, even if the cooling period is the 6 months, when you go back to your country, at this time you have UK job experience on your CV, it will also open new jobs for you and new opportunities for you. So I think this is really good, and we thank the MAC for investigating and researching on this particular visa route and then coming out with these 5 great recommendations to the government. We hope that the government also takes this serious and then puts in place all these recommendations from the MAC and make the lives of people that come to work in this visa category makes it much easier and smoother. I know so many people that have come to the UK on this particular work visa. Okay, so it's possible. Do not give up. Thank you so much for watching. I'll leave all links and everything I've said in the description below. Remember, I'm not an immigration advisor. I'm only saying this based on research and just information on the internet. Thank you so much for watching.